Welcome to The Seen Woman, our very first episode on celebrating women of excellence, women of audacity, women of wisdom, where we tell stories of women who shines, who leads. So today I have a special guest with me, a woman of excellence and audacity. I would like to introduce yourself. Can you tell us your name?
My name is Heritage Sanmi-Lawal.
What do you do?
That question is always very difficult to answer because I feel like I dabble into a lot of things, right? So I am a gender and international development consultant. I am also a founder of a non-profit organization that is domiciled in Nigeria. I also, by calling and, in church, I serve as the resident pastor of Light Nation United Kingdom. So like I said, so many things in between. I do a lot of, policy advocacy, policy influencing, consultancy with international organizations and with human rights institutions as well.
Amazing. Wow, that's so much excellence and audacity there. So I would like to ask you a couple of more questions. So what does it mean to be seen as a woman in your field?
I think the word seen here refers to a lot of things for me, because I know what it feels like to be in a space where it feels no one is really hearing your voice. Mm-hmm. So it's not just about like physically seeing the person, but beyond that, their abilities, their potentials, their skills, their talents. I have seen the power of someone, just intentionally seeing what you are capable of and
Yes.
believing in you. I've seen that in my parents who raised me. I've seen that in my home church. I've seen that with my mentor and my spiritual father, Apostle Lazarus, how they intentionally see beyond what they are seeing right now and just see what the person can become. And somehow that has been a compass for my own leadership journey as well.
Yes.
I tend to look at people, especially women, beyond what they are right now. I always tend to see what they have the ability to become, what they can achieve and what they can do. And I always feel like it's so much more than what society tells them, yes. Right? Yeah, so.
Amazing, amazing. Was there ever a time in your career you felt invincible, you were not seen or overlooked? And how were you able to navigate that situation?
If you don't feel overlooked, then it has to be that there are a lot of aspects to this, honestly. Yeah. Being overlooked in the sense can start from self-identity.
Yes.
So for a long time, even when I was doing quite well, even before career, when I was doing quite well in school, I always used to get this feeling like, okay, I'm not being seen because I'm still operating as an average student. But I was wrong, because even then I had skills, I had things I was applying myself to that people could not apply themselves to. I leveraged so much. The thing about feeling invisible is that you want to be seen for one thing and that one thing alone. We tend to forget that there are other aspects of our lives that can even bring us out of that obscurity even more than we are thinking.
Yes.
So for me, I always used to think, it's going to be legal career because I am, by study in my academics, even down to my master's degree, was in law. So I've always felt like law should definitely be what should bring me out of obscurity and make people say, that invisibility and see me as I am, But that wasn't what led me to the path I'm on now. What led me to this path was advocacy and human rights and policy influencing. So sometimes I feel the problem might be that people are not seeing us in that aspect that we want them to see us. Yes. And it doesn't have to be that way. We can choose to leverage on what we ourselves want to be remembered for. And regardless of whether you're not being recognized for it, now, trust me, when you are consistent and on that journey, there will come to a time that kings will come to the brightness of your lights. It's a scriptural pattern. It's something that is we have seen it over and over again. We've seen it with the likes of Nelson Mandela, people like, for example, Martin Luther King, people like Winnie Mandela herself, people that you normally would not expect to get the level of influence they're getting now, and even the importance of their legacy.
Yeah.
You know, you can attach someone like Martin Luther King to the freedom of America and the freedom of black people. You can attach, you know, Winnie Mandela,
Yes.
Ramson Kuti, Funmilayo Ramson Kuti to the freedom of women. So at the end of the day, it might look like you're invincible now, but trust me, your work is what would make that path for you into light, and that's out of that invincibility that you think you are in now.
Wow. Wow, so much insight. Wow, thank you so much. So I've got another question. So what advice would you give to a woman starting in your field, in your industry?
Be audacious. Don't take no for an answer. You will get no's, a lot of no's. In fact, if you're not getting a no right now, then it means you're really not asking the right questions.
Yes.
When you start asking the right questions, you will get the no's. You will. Don't let it discourage you. Don't let it make you feel like you are not achieving as much as you should. As much as this sounds like a cliche, stay consistent. Imagine speaking about something for over 5, 6, 7 years.
Wow, yeah.
And you're on that path constantly. The days where it's easy, the days when it's not easy, you're on that path constantly. Definitely something has to give at some point.
Yes.
And not just being consistent with a level, like the stagnant level of just like being there, but consistent, and then you're growing, you're developing yourself, you are reaching beyond the confines of what they're expecting you to be on. When I started this journey, sometimes I have to read far and wide. I have to speak to people. I have to be at events. I'm by nature much more introverted. I like to be in my space and just there with my K-dramas and enjoy myself. But I have to go to meetings. I have to talk to people. So it's also about challenging yourself. You feel proud of yourself knowing that I challenged myself and it worked. You can teach these templates because you've seen it work for you as well. So to any woman who is starting out in anything that has to do with advocacy, even in the legal field, that's one thing I would tell you. Be very audacious. Be very audacious. Leverage on mentors. Leverage on community. I have so many people now. I have connected with so many people all over the world via LinkedIn, via Instagram. These people have now become my biggest supporters. They are the ones who send me opportunities and say you should apply for this. Some of them I've never met them in person. So leverage on community, leverage on mentors, and definitely you get there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. Wow. Okay, so if you could rewrite the rules for women in your field, what would you change? I know.
What do you mean the rules for women?
So in your field, there might be a policy, an idea, that counters the position of a woman. So, like, you go to certain systems and women are put behind. You can't take such roles. You can't take leads. So, in your own field, like, what would you rewrite? For example, what rules do you think that, oh, this rule is not meant to be there for a woman?
Interestingly, I don't think there are such rules and policies for women in law or in advocacy.
Okay.
Everyone kind of sets paths for themselves. For my undergrad, my project work was on women in the maritime sector, and that was when I discovered that there are some, ships, modes of transportation on the sea where they do not have like bathrooms or washrooms for women. They do not have rooms that have been equipped for women. So, I tackled that as part of my work. So it's really depending on the sector you are looking into. But the legal sector as it is actually open to women. We have SANs that are females. We have judges that are females. We have chief justices that are females, chief judges. So I know that there is really not so much like written down rules. We do have unspoken rules, though.
Okay.
We have unspoken
Yeah.
rules,
Yes.
and the ones I would always talk about, generally speaking, when it comes to maternal leave, I would also advocate for the paternal leave as well.
Okay.
I feel that when a woman is being told, okay, you have a maternal leave, and the idea is for her body to recuperate and recover.
Yes.
But we know that in the aspect of the home, right, a woman can't do it all.
Yes.
So why not put the man also, or allow him also the room to have a paternal leave? I had a training session with some Gen Zs, some advocates in the room, and I told them, I said, why we even advocate for paternal leave is because some of these men also, they are pained. They have to wake up, go to work, knowing that they have a newborn baby, and they are leaving the wife with the newborn baby. The wife who is trying to just recover and get, her body back,
Yeah.
So I feel those are, some of the general issues that I like to speak on and to advocate for.
Okay.
Definitely equal pay. Equal pay is equal pay is something we've been talking about for a long time. People don't see the need. They feel like somehow a man is more hardworking than a woman, so why should we pay women more? But we look at the workplace. Some of us go into the workplace and we see that it's the complete opposites.
Absolutely.
I don't want to go into that argument, but I want to say equal pay is something we deserve. It's something we deserve.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for that answer. But lastly, what is your go-to affirmation or mantra? What's your affirmation?
Do I have a mantra? I think there's I will paraphrase it because I actually do not know who originated this quote, but it says that when the people who have the light are silent, then automatically darkness takes over. So somehow that always gives me a sense of urgency, and I always know not to keep quiet when I see something wrong. That has been a part of me. I don't even know when, but it was actually when I was reading the book, The 7 Habits of Effective People. That was a quote that was in that book, and I remember that it just really struck me. I had to write it down. That was my quote for the year, and somehow I've been able to paraphrase it and apply it to my life. That when you are, the only thing you need for darkness to take over a world or a system is for the good people to keep quiet.
Yes.
That's all you need. So I know to always speak up for truth, for justice, for fairness, for equality. And yeah, that's my driving force, really. I always keep it in my mind. I'm a light, right? I'm a light.
Yes.
I'm a light that's been sent to the world, and I should walk in that light. So yeah, that should be my mantra.
Amazing. Wow. I need to give a round of applause for it's been such a beautiful and insightful moment with you. Thank you so much on behalf of the Sane Woman for portraying excellence, audacity. Thank you for the privilege of being on our platform. Thank you.
It's a privilege as well for me, and it's definitely an honor to be on this platform. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you so much. All right, the Sane Woman. Watch out for the next episode where we highlight women of excellence, women of audacity, women of wisdom. See you.